This is where I've tried to highlight a few of the top practices that you should follow in case when capturing or replaying your workload using RAT. So the first one is, like, I've seen sometimes people don't have clarity. They always gets confused about the peak workload time. I mean, what time of the business hour we should capture and replay? To answer that one, there are two good ways to do that. Either use EM, Enterprise Manager, IO-related metrics section, which will give you some good-looking historical graphs, or you can also use ASH views or active session history views, especially db_hist_systat, and its dynamic view equivalent or counterpart called as systat, to get some IOPS specific information, which you can later on plot in some kind of a graph to get the time where you have maximum number of read and writes happening in the day. So that will be the time you would like to capture from your production. As a second best practice about the workload clients, which are used to replicate or simulate real-time workload replay on the target system. If you want, you can start them on the same target machine, but it's highly recommended to run them on a separate host because they consume a lot of resources. They need CPU, they need memory, and they do a lot of IO that can impact your replay's performance. As a third best practice, like processing captured files on the target. This is a one-time task, a one-time activity where the workload is processed by real application testing. Once you did it for the first time, then you don't have to redo it. You can simply replay as many times as you want on the target. Next is, as pre-processing is a long activity, if you want, you can do it on a separate seed database while you are using the database for other tasks, maybe for creating capture subsets and writing the filters, etc. Continuing the same slide. Next point number 5 is, as you have to replay the workload a few times before you are satisfied with everything and you have fixed all of those regress SQL on the target, it's good to create a GRP or guaranteed restore point just before you go and do the replay, which makes your data files dirty, right? So this way you can save a lot of time, which you otherwise be spending doing RMN restores or imports. Next, point number 6 is the synchronization parameter, which basically controls the synchronization methods used for the database replay. So it's always good to try different synchronization models or modes that are available and decide which one best suits your workload. There are a few of them, like time that will basically replay will happen, use the same wall clock timings as the capture. The other type is to set it to SCN, where the commit order is captured, workload will be observed during the replay, and all replay actions will be executed only after all dependent commits actions are completed. And the third one is object_ID, where all replay action will be executed only after all relevant commits action have completed. Okay, the next best practice is, in case if you're using real application databases, real application cluster databases, RAC databases, you can map all your connection strings to a load balancing connection. This is quite useful if number of RAC nodes on the replay system is different from the capture system. And you can, you also have option if you want to point at the workload to specific instances. You can use services or separately assign the instance identifiers in the remap connection strings. Next one is about resuming and pausing your replay. I mean, many of the times I've seen people, they simply stop the replay in case they want to perform anything in between the workload replay. So the dbms_workload_replay has two good procedures now, which you can use to temporarily pause it and resume the workload on the target later on.